Hey everybody, Crypto Mentor 99, how you doing? It is the evening of June the 7th, and as promised, I have the honor and privilege to interview Jorge Sanchez, Chief Marketing Officer of CryptoPal. Jorge, welcome. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Doing good.
So,
Glad to be speaking to you finally.
yeah, I want to get started because I tell you what, when I first saw you guys, it was on the Twitter, okay? And I gotta say, out of the gate, out of the get-go, when I saw your tweet on Twitter, when you guys were at the Crypto Invest Summit, right? One of the things, and not that I'm the gauge that I'm not the gauge of, CryptoPal, but when I saw your post on Twitter, I'm like, that name, and I'm being honest with you, the name CryptoPal just seemed very inviting to me. That's how I clicked on the link and I saw you guys.
Well, we're glad the name's working.
So, who is the brainchild behind the name?
That was actually CEO Venkat Nalapati.
Okay,
Yeah, just felt right, and I think it just defines a little bit who we are.
yeah. So, before we get into who you guys are, tell us a little bit about. I like to get the subscribers and viewers, like, they could read the white paper, and again, I've read this like 6 times, but I'd like them to kind of get a feel for Jorge, like your heart, your passion. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit, how in the world did a guy like you get involved or interested, not so much in CryptoPal, I'll ask you that in a second, but just in like the crypto space, like how did that interest develop?
Yeah, so originally it started with Bitcoin, like a lot of people heard about it, early on in around 2010, but it was, to me, more of an interesting economic tool and kind of a social experiment. So I didn't start investing in it at the time. I mean, I bought some, but it was more of just like a cool thing to look into. Didn't quite know what it would become, but as someone that was kind of a business and economic nerd,
Sure.
just something that actually piqued my interest in itself. And as time progressed, especially with the launch of Ethereum, I started to really see the potential of blockchain technology and decentralized ledger technology to create a world of decentralization, which is at core my passion because I think that's truly what's needed to create a world full of liberty and people who are more self-empowered
Sure.
and see this technology as being kind of the necessary tool to make that happen.
Okay. So again, even though you're a young guy, back in the day, was information relatively hard to find about, Bitcoin, blockchain technology? Because I mean, was there a lot? Like, where did you go for your information or for your
To
education?
be honest, it was mostly through peers, friends.
Okay.
At the time, actually, online poker was a huge craze in the U.S. And so when the U.S. cracked down on the poker sites, a lot of the people had to start using Bitcoin in order to go on there because the banks weren't allowing people with U.S. cards
I didn't
to
know that.
the
Okay.
system. And so the libertarian in me saw that in the fact that the banks were prohibiting people and they were being used as a tool by the government to sort of enforce rule. And so that was kind of a little ping of
Wow.
libertarianism that kind of piqued my interest there as well. And so it was just kind of a community of people that sort of decided needed to use it out of necessity.
Oh my gosh. That is so cool, man. I didn't know that. Of course, there's a lot that
Yeah.
I don't know about you and CryptoPal, but so okay, so fast forward to, your interest, you're buying some Bitcoin, you're talking to your friends, and then did you find CryptoPal or did they find you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, we found each other actually. I would say again, going to local meetups and meeting local enthusiasts. I was a regular at the Desert Blockchain Group in Phoenix, Arizona, led by Jay Carpenter. And there I met Jason Horton, who is the CTO of KryptoPal currently. At the time, we just became friends and spoke about crypto and saw that we had some mutual interests and that there would be potential for us to work on something interesting in the future. And as we kind of coalesced around a particular idea, and Venkat had brought an idea to Jason to work on. Jason reached out to me and said this is something that my skill set would be complementary to and that I would believe in. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then one day we all sat down and had coffee, and I sort of joined the group.
Oh gosh, that's great. So you didn't say this, but I always say, like, interviewing people like you, I'm living my dream. So you're kind of living the dream. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
no, I'm living the dream. Sure.
Oh gosh, okay, all right. Well, let's.
Yeah, I was a huge enthusiast for a while, but I was in school and then I had a day job, and I was very happy when I could sort of make that my real life, my whole time.
Okay, we did not talk about this during the pre-interview, but this is an easy question for you. And I've gotten a couple emails, and I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear it, from you because you're the expert here. So I get emails every now and then. Well, I've gotten two, maybe three, where people go, like, they think I know who's hiring, right? And I got an email from a guy in Spain the other day and said, hey, I have like absolutely no computer experience, but I'm excited about, cryptocurrency, like, who's hiring? And I'm like, dude, I have no idea, So again, I think I know what your advice may be, but if there's someone out there that says, hey, I kind of want to follow the same path or a similar path of Jorge Sanchez, would you recommend that maybe they just hang around at some Bitcoin meetups in their own town and get to know people?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of things emerge out of communities. I mean, I think communities emerge, and out of those, great things emerge. And whether that's a local meetup in person, or for instance, Bitcoin itself was a newsletter, an email chain. So getting engaged in forums like Bitcoin Talk, or getting involved in local meetups, or going to conferences. I see people getting together and kind of talking about ideas, and I definitely think that that's the way to find about projects and opportunities.
Okay, I mean, I didn't feel responsible for these emails, but you could just hear the passion and the enthusiasm, and I'm just like, I don't know where to send you. Like, I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask, but all right. Well, let's dive into KryptoPal. So if someone's watching this and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I just, what is it and what do I need to know about it, and kind of why I should invest in it? Like, what would you just kind of say to someone like that, Jorge?
Well, most of the people in the space are familiar with the problem that you fundamentally can't spend any crypto in most places. Yeah. The user experience is very jarring from your normal way of living. And the problem is that there aren't enough applications being built out, there aren't enough services that can integrate easily with cryptocurrency so that they can interact with the blockchains and other technology like decentralized storage or digital identity or smart contracts. The KryptoPal platform has created a software development toolkit, and it enables the developer to be able to use the language they're familiar with, so they can develop in Java, for instance, and integrate cryptocurrency micropayment transactions or atomic swaps or decentralized storage and identity, or embed smart contracts into their websites, their applications, or their POS systems. And so by doing this, we enable an entire world of people who are interested. I'm sure we're all aware that blockchain technology has a lot of interest from the general public itself, and a lot of those people are developers who are wanting to enter the space, and at the time it's too difficult or too expensive to do it on your own. So the mom and pop shop down the street can't integrate crypto payments into their POS system.
Sure.
The bloggers can't integrate some of the loyalty tokens onto their systems pretty easily. So for me, that's the biggest hurdle. If we want mass adoption and we want to bring this technology to the greater public, then we need to make it easier for people to get involved and for people to develop, which is what we need. And so that's what we've done.
Interesting. And for those of you that don't know this, Jorge and I were trying to schedule an interview, I'm going to say 10 days, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we had some technical problems. And Jorge said, hey, I'm going to Brazil. And I just assumed maybe it was vacation or to see some friends. But during the pre-interview, Jorge said, no, man, I was down there on business. So, Jorge, what can you tell us what you guys are doing down in Brazil, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so we were just going down to, again, meet with the community down there and engage people who are interested in blockchain and see what it's like. And there's definitely a ton of interest in the blockchain space. The entire ecosystem down there seems pretty ripe for this type of innovation in that there is a lot of inefficiencies in their systems, and frankly, there's a lot of corruption as well. And so things like transparency and efficient systems are very much a needed solution at the time. And so we just wanted to get down there and meet with potential contributors as well.
Sure.
And see what we can do for the community down there and what the community over there is doing that can we can help share as well. And funnily enough, while we were down there, unfortunately, there was a trucker strike that cut off all the fuel supply for the city. And so not too many people were able to get around, but the community that did make it to that conference definitely some diehard passionate blockchain. So I look forward to connecting with them and collaborating in the future.
Yeah, that's great. It seems like I was on a phone call, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, with this guy for about an hour, and it seems like everybody I interview, everyone I talk to, everybody I'm on the phone with in the crypto space, they've got this fire in them that just doesn't go out,
Yeah.
And
well,
again,
there's real problems we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
This isn't for a lot of us just a business. It's a solution. It's
that's
a solution
awesome.
to a problem to bring about the future that we want to see.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that what I kind of do in my own life, I never tell people to do something that I'm not doing myself. So I think sometimes people think I'm kind of not a nerd, but when I read the white paper and I read it again and I learn something new and I'm being totally honest, and one of the things that I really, again, enjoyed, liked, appreciated, I always tell people, look at the team. Look who's on the team. And you guys got a bunch of all-stars on your team. You've got a great board of advisors. And, I'm jealous that you're a whole lot younger than I am, and I can't go back in time. But a lot of these board of directors are kind of older folks that, have some, really good experience that they're bringing to the table with the KryptoPal, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just passionate people who see the problems and, for instance, see what KryptoPal itself is doing, not just blockchain. For instance, one of our advisors, he's the founder of a university, and he runs a university, and they know very much about the problems with managing transcripts and student records, and that they have to have a third-party intermediary when they send records to potential employers. And so we're going to be announcing our partnership this week with that university, in that they're going to be using KryptoPal to manage their student records and create a self-sovereign student management system, so that the students themselves always have access to their data, and that the employers can trust the data, and the university can ensure that the data is secure and they don't have to spend all of the time and effort spent on managing the system and verifying that information.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So when it becomes available, can I do a video on that and post it on Twitter and Telegram?
Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So without giving away any trade secrets, what's kind of next for CryptoPal? Like maybe not maybe next week or next month, but what can you tell us that you folks are kind of drilling down into these days?
Sure. Well, most immediately, we'll have our token generation event in August 8th, 18. And then following that, we'll be launching our platform on the mainnet so that we can get to market right after that. And we'll be using the funds raised to scale the platform. So currently, we're just on Ethereum, but we'll be scaling out onto other blockchains, Bitcoin and Dash in the next year or so, and making it interoperable so that you can connect any app or wallet address between people and kind of get closer to that decentralized future.
The way you crypto guys think, it's again, I just honor the way your minds think and you guys express, and the women to express. It's just way beyond me. It's unbelievable. So maybe you've answered part of the next question that I'm going to ask. So what's kind of later down the road with the roadmap? No pun intended. Like maybe late 2018 or even in the parts of 2019, Jorge.
Yeah, so that'll be, so next year is when we'll start expanding onto other blockchains, and then we're going to be increasing the functionalities available to developers. Most importantly, we'll want to make sure that we maintain our feedback loops. The people that are developing on the system can share their feedback and let us know of additional tools that they might need. And we'll make sure to continue to iterate and improve that, as well as include new tools and expand to other blockchains in the next year.
Wow. Okay. And we didn't talk about this in the pre-interview, but I just thought of this now. So will you guys be attending, and I don't even know how to quantify it, but will you try to be attending like more and more conferences as the months and years go by, or until you kind of get a foothold in the marketplace, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, we're continuing to travel around, go to conferences. Our CEO's in Dubai right now. Our CTO's in Seattle. We're going to be all together as a team in July, going to from Zug in the Crypto Valley in Switzerland to Amsterdam and Frankfurt, and spending those 3 months traveling. And then we hope to get to Asia. And then following our launch, we'll continue to go to developer conferences to make sure that we are continuing to have that feedback loop, to make sure that we are on the cutting edge and providing what's necessary to scale the platform.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. So, next question. So, I'm assuming most people listening are probably, working people. They work, pick a number, 30, 40, 50 hours a week, and they can't be on Twitter, they can't be on Telegram, they can't be 9 places at, one time. Again, maybe an unfair question, but if someone just had like 1 or 2 social media platforms to follow CryptoPal, what would you kind of say, where would you kind of direct them as to where should they, kind of find you guys?
Sure. Well, I would definitely recommend reading the white paper. But yeah, to follow and stay up to date, Twitter and Telegram, I would say, are the best channels. One, I think it's easier for a lot of people to get the news that they want on other sources, right? So we don't want to be somewhere where they're not going to be. That way they can watch all the projects that they're watching. And it's more real time. Telegram's a lot more real time. You get instant feedback on anything that you need, and there's a large community that will answer your questions, and you can help gain some more understanding there. But for more of announcements and staying up to date on what's coming along, definitely stay tuned on the Twitter channel.
Okay. So let's kind of wind down a little bit. So, of all the things that maybe are going through your mind right now about CryptoPal, or hey, I wish I would have mentioned this, or I wish Crypto Mentor 99 would have asked me this. So again, without trying to put you on the spot, is there something you can kind of have the last say here? Is there something that before we end, you're like, oh, I forgot to mention this, or maybe there's 3 things that I thought about at the beginning of the interview and never mentioned. So you get the last word, Jorge.
Sure. So I think that the most important thing here is the fact that we're all looking for the same thing, at least in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And we believe surely that the solution is to empower more people to get in the space, develop the applications and the use cases for us to use our cryptocurrency, for us to become less reliant on data brokers and credit card companies and banks who use our data to sell it and sort of control what we can do.
Yeah.
And with the CryptoPal platform, if you're a software developer, you can create your own tools and your own websites and all of these functionalities so that you don't need to be reliant on a banking system. If you're a merchant and you have a POS system and you want to be able to transact in cryptocurrency, or you have a blog and you want to be able to provide loyalty tokens or embed smart contracts, you can do so without having to have a super rare blockchain developer, decentralized web developer, or even the amount of capital that would be required to host a node and maintain that full time. We provide that functionality and the complete toolkit for anyone to get started, and so we believe that it truly will decentralize the web.
That's cool. Well, when I do these interviews, there's always a little part of me that wants to go on 35, 45, 50 minutes because I want everybody to know about CryptoPal. And then there's the other side of me that says, let's just kind of hit on a few things and then we'll have our viewers and subscribers wanting more in the weeks. I mean, not to play with them, but because sometimes people don't want to watch a 45-minute video. It's like, are you kidding me? So why don't we wrap it up by saying I appreciate your skill set. I'm glad that you got involved in some local crypto meetups that ended up you hooking your passions to CryptoPal, which I love. Again, in real life, I'm a counselor, and whether someone's old or young, I love when their passions come together. I'll say with like their destiny or who they were made, to be. So again, interviewing people like you, I'm living the dream because I could really, again, it sounds kind of corny. I could see it in your eyes, the excitement, and I don't know, I'm just honored that you would take time, again, to talk with a little guy like me about CryptoPal. And I really, really mean that. So.
Well, thanks. I mean, just love talking about it as much as possible.
Okay.
So again, the last word is for people that do want to get involved in the space, find a local meetup, and if there isn't one, create one.
Oh, that's awesome. So there you go, everybody. Jorge Sanchez. I'm going to say it again. I love saying that name. Sounds like a baseball player. Jorge Sanchez, Chief Marketing Officer of CryptoPal. I'm going to put some links below. And we will do this again, Jorge, and I appreciate and honor your time. And I learned a lot today, and I'm sure everybody else did too. We'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye.